When my mother was young, she lived in a small village surrounded by green fields, tall trees, and winding dirt paths. The village was simple, with clay houses and thatched roofs, and people worked hard every day to make a living. Her family was poor, and life was difficult, but they had each other. Every morning, she helped her mother fetch water from the well, carrying heavy clay pots on her small shoulders. Then, she would help cook meals over a fire, stirring the pot, while the smoke made her eyes water. She took care of her younger siblings, dressing them, feeding them, and making sure they were safe. But deep inside, she longed for a different life, one where she could play, learn, and dream beyond the limits of the village. She often watched other children running barefoot across the fields, laughing and playing without a care. She wanted to join them, but duty always called. Sometimes she felt frustrated and wondered why life had to be so unfair. One evening, after a long, tiring day, she sat under a large banyan tree, gazing at the sky, painted with hues of orange and pink. A gentle breeze rustled the leaves, and she let out a deep sigh. An elderly woman from the village, known for her wisdom, noticed her sitting alone and walked over with slow, steady steps. The old woman, dressed in a simple white sari, had silver hair neatly tied in a bun. Her wrinkled face was kind, and her eyes held the warmth of experience. She smiled at my mother and said, "A pot can be half empty or half full. How you see it is your choice." My mother frowned, confused. "But what does that mean?" she asked. The old woman chuckled softly and sat beside her. "If you always think about what you don't have, you will feel empty and sad. But if you focus on what you can do, you will find a way to fill your pot and make life better." My mother listened carefully, but didn't fully understand. The old woman patted her shoulder gently and walked away, leaving her with those words. That night, as she lay on her small wooden bed, those words echoed in her mind. She looked around at her small home. Not much, but it was filled with love. Instead of thinking about what she lacked, she started wondering what she could do to change her life. She remembered that her mother had taught her how to sew, a skill passed down through generations. She was good at it, stitching torn clothes with patience and care. A thought sparked in her mind. What if she could use this skill to help her family? The next day, she gathered old fabric scraps and started sewing small fabric dolls. With her careful stitches, she made each doll unique and beautiful. When she took them to the village market, a kind woman bought one for her child. That small sale filled her heart with joy. It was the first time she had earned something on her own. Encouraged by this, she continued making dolls and soon started sewing simple clothes for children in the village. People noticed her hard work and skill, and more orders started coming in. With each stitch, she was weaving a new path for herself and her family. As time passed, her small sewing work slowly grew into a business. She was able to buy better fabric, tools, and even help her mother with household expenses. More than just earning money, she gained confidence in herself. She no longer saw life as unfair. She saw it as something she could shape with her own hands. Years later, as she became a successful woman, she often told me, "Change your thoughts, and your life will follow." Whenever I faced struggles in life, I remembered her words. They gave me strength, just as they had given her. I realized that no matter how tough life gets, the way we think about our problems determines how we overcome them. Morale: your thoughts shape your life. If you think positively and focus on solutions, you will find new opportunities and success.